been a gift for you, let me know in the chat. Say, oh my goodness, Dr. Una, this has been a game changer, complete game changer. Let me know in the chat. Okay. If you know that, if you know how you'd show up if you paid 10 grand to be here, I want you to show up that way. Okay. What is that way for you? Show up that way. Get your workbooks out. Let's do some work. Okay. Dr. Davis says this has been a game changer. Dr. Felicia has all those hearts. Hi, Dr. Chiadoze. Hi, Dr. Leslie. Nicole says we're ready. Okay. Well, let's do it. Okay. We're not going to be the people who are cynical. We're not going to be the people who say, oh, medicine, everything is messed up. 2025, let's throw it away. By the end of January, people are saying, oh, January was the longest year I've ever had. But we don't do that here, okay? We are the people who know that we will figure out how to work because we can rise above any challenge. You guys remember that from day one? So 2025 can throw stuff at it, but we're ready for it. We're built for this, okay? All right. So today we're going to look at something that is one of my favorite things. Let me look for Dr. Jillian, see if she's on. She had asked about team. Okay, there you are. Hi, Dr. Jillian. Okay, you're going to really love this. This is going to be a phenomenal session. Okay, over the last 3 days, we have done a lot of great work. Okay, we have looked at the 7-figure CEO mindset, framework, the mindset, the attitudes we need to have, and we got that in order. Okay, we looked at how to our daily 5 so that we understand how to create revenue in our businesses every single day. Okay, we looked at how to position our businesses as the #1 option because that's what our businesses are. And now today we're going to look at how to build your rockstar team. And all through all of this, you have had the opportunity to hear the stories of many physicians, all of whom are in the EntreMD Business School, but you got to hear their stories because we want you to see that this stuff works. This stuff works. The principles you are learning, they work, okay? And we also opened up opportunities for those of you who are like, look, I want to go all the way in on this. I know I need these roadmaps. These are fantastic. I need all your roadmaps. I need the community. I need the accountability, okay? And I want to read something here. And I just want to do it because I read this, I was like, this is so wild. Do you remember in the beginning that we picked a date 90 days from the beginning of this workshop, which was July the 7th. And we had made a decision that our businesses can be completely different in 90 days. We made a decision that ourselves as entrepreneurs, we can be completely different. And in the EntreMD Business School, one of the things we do is we live 90 days at a time. So I know I'm saying this here, but that's what we do. We live 90 days at a time. And so at this stage, we're putting our Q1, our first quarter of the year, the review and all of that stuff. And this doctor documented something that was so crazy. I read it. I hadn't even commented on it. I was like, this is nuts. But I want to show you what can happen when you work on your business. I want to show you the kind of changes that can happen. So this is based on Q1. This person said, I got to take spring break off with my family for the first time in years. I gave more than I've ever given. My revenue increased 30%. So Q1 of last year compared to Q1 of this year, 30%. I spoke at three events. And I had lunch with my kids every single week. How many of you will be okay with that? Let me know in the chat, right? You get to do spring break with the kids. Your revenue is up by 30%. You know what I mean? And she had a lot of other things. I just don't want to put all her stuff out there because, it's a closed group and all of that stuff. And she's living her life. Is the dream business, is the dream life. This is exactly what she's doing. She had pre-med students rotate through with her. All 3 of them got into med school. How would you feel if it was people you were mentoring, right? And all this stuff is just like nuts, right? And we're looking at what happened in 30 days, in 90 days. So don't underestimate it. And this is at a time when I was looking at someone's sharing this data with me that over the last 2 years, the average business has dropped in revenue by 55%. 55. But you can have an alternate reality because that's what we do in EntreMD. You're here. That's what we do. We defy the status quo. We're not here to be a continuation of the status quo. We don't like, how many of you are like, I don't like the status quo? Okay. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So I'm super excited for the doctors who have joined. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up for them. And so some of you, you have calls scheduled at Makita and all of those things. But if it's something you've been thinking about, definitely go book the call. Makita will probably put her link to her calendar and all of that stuff in the comments. Okay. So now let's talk about this Rockstar team. Why are we talking about building a Rockstar team? Because this is your ticket to freedom. A Rockstar team is your ticket to massively multiplying your output, your impact, creating financial freedom for yourself and creating time freedom for yourself. Okay. If you are doing everything, then chances are you'll walk away from being a burnt out employed physician to now being a burnt out physician entrepreneur. Right. So one was burned out. You were forced into this is burnout, your custom burnout that you built by your own self. We're not going to do that. Okay. So there are a number of things to keep you from experiencing that, but one of the most powerful ones is your Rockstar team. Now, there are many people who may hear me and they're like, but I have a team and my team is the reason I don't want to grow my business because they drive me nuts, right? They drive me nuts. And the more people I hire, the less profit I make. And that's because many people, not you, because you're going to learn the way to do it tonight, many people just hire people. Oh, I just want, these things are just tiring me out. So they just hire a body. And the body comes in and the body is doing random things that have nothing to do with anything. So they're busy. The business owner is still doing most of the stuff. So they're still burnt out and their profit margin is shut. It's shot. So it's a lose-lose-lose situation. Okay. And I'm going to show you the principle that is required for you to not do that. Okay. Let me know in the chat. If you let me know, I'll share it with you. All right. If you're enthusiastic about it, I'll share it with you. But I am telling you, I have seen people who are running multi-million-dollar businesses and they're working locum shifts to make money because they don't have enough profit to pay themselves. You are not going to do that, okay? Because you're showing up like you pay 10 grand. I'm showing like you pay 10 grand, and we're going to fix this, okay? Okay. So if you don't hear anything I say today, there are a few things I want you to hear, okay? The first thing here is, let's just get this out of the way. So your workbook, page 7, team, if you can post the link again for anybody who still needs the workbook. Those of you who've been working on workbooks since day 1, super proud of you, okay? All right, day 7, people will be your greatest pain in business. Let's just get that out of the way. Humans, they will give you the greatest pain. So many people, why don't you want to hire? I hired once, it didn't work out. They did this, they did that. This is why I don't want to hire. Okay, newsflash. People will be your greatest pain in business. So we might as well get it out of the way. Okay, just get it out of the way. People are going to do the mostest because people do people-y things. This is what people do. Okay, humans do humanoid things. It's just what it is. And so maybe you've had a bad hire. Maybe you've had a bad experience and it has stopped you from building a team. I want to invite you to realize that that's normal. Okay, in the chat, if you've had a bad hire before, just type me. Okay, let's normalize this and get over it and just don't worry about it. We're not going to make it a thing anymore. We're just going to go for what we want to go for. If you have hired people, you have had a bad hire, right? Who else? I know it's not just Dr. Anderson. Who else has had a bad hire? Dr. Dosumu, veteran pediatrician, been in practice for decades, of course, many, many bad hires. Who else? Dr. Sheila, multiple. Let's be clear here, multiple. Okay. So they'll bring you the greatest pain. So once you come to terms with it, then when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, Dr. Una told me about that. And that's it. You don't have to, it's a thing. But why would we continue to hire? Why would we continue to make the effort? Why would we continue to build teams? Because people will also be your greatest blessing in business. And so we're not going to be so turned off by the pain that we won't embrace the blessing. Okay. I've had a lot of interesting hires, let's put it that way, but I have great teams, plural. Okay. And so if you're willing to go through the quote unquote pain, you can end up on this other side where you have the help and the support that you need. The business you're trying to build, the dream you're trying to build, you're not going to be able to build it by yourself. You need people. You need people. Okay. So the more we come to terms with this, the better everything is. When I think about my life on a daily basis, it's a lot of output. I have a mentorship meeting I do every morning. I have the EntreMD Business School. I have multiple YouTube channels, multiple podcasts. I write multiple books every year. I have like all of these things that are happening, which is amazing because my life is touching thousands and thousands of lives. But guess what I couldn't do if I didn't have a team? None of it. None of it will be happening. Right? And so the more team you have, the more impact you'll have. How many of you want to have a lot of impact? Maybe I'm in the wrong room. Am I in the right room? Like you want to help more people. You want to touch more people. You want to bring more change to the world, right? You want to do bigger things. They even new things and different things you want to do, right? If you want to do that, you need team. You need team. You need a home team. You need a business team. You need team. Okay. Okay. So this is the formula I want you to remember. And if you remember and go by this formula, you will hire in a way that will lead to you having a rock star team and you having a lot of impact, time freedom, financial freedom. Okay. Every team member should generate enough revenue. They should have enough of an impact on the bottom line that they're covering their salary, they're covering the overhead associated with their role, and they're generating a profit for the practice or the business. If these three things are not happening, the more you hire, the more financial pressure you'll experience. The more you hire, the more frustrated you will be. The more you hire, the more you will self-sabotage and stop your business from growing because growth equals pain. I met somebody recently and she's like, I don't really want to grow my business anymore. And I was thinking, I was like, well, from what I know of this person, their business is young. And I'm like, are you at capacity? She's like, no. I'm like, so how come you don't want to grow it anymore? Because I have one team member and I can't take it. And I can't see more people if I don't have more team. And I just can't do the team. So now we're crushing a business that could easily be a 7-figure business because of the pain of team. We have to figure this out. Okay. So let's look at this situation, right? So the way we want to think, the way I used to think, maybe none of you, the way I used to think is, oh yeah, we have so much work in this business. Let's hire somebody. We hire the person, we give them random tasks. Okay, so I've taken one for the team, so you're not going to do that. Okay. When you want to hire somebody, you want to hire a medical assistant. Now, every team member is going to help you serve and earn. This is what your business does. Your business serves people in a profitable way. It serves, it earns. It serves, it earns. So for every team member you're bringing on, they need to serve and earn. They need to do the same thing that you're doing because you hire them to help you. That's what you're doing. Okay. Now, so for every role, you have to ask yourself, how does this role make money? How does this role bring in revenue? You have to be clear. So when you are evaluating them or when you're training them on doing the thing and bringing in revenue. Both of them need to happen. Please let me know in the chat you got it. Do you guys get it? Are you getting it? Because once you get this, you're good. Are you getting it? Yeah? Dr. Anderson is like, I'm getting it. Dr. Chiadoze is like, got it. Okay, good. Okay, so let's look at a few examples here, okay? If I'm going to hire, let's say it's for private practice, and I'm going to hire a front desk person. The usual thought is, yeah, it's just the person. Then they answer the phones, and, they collect some co-pays and they do all of that kind of stuff, and all. No, not anymore. You've been to this workshop. Not anymore. Now you're like, okay, they're going to serve the people. What are they going to do? They're going to greet the people, give them a great first impression, all of those kind of things, guide them to whatever room to go to and all of that. That's serving. Okay. That does nothing for your bottom line. Okay, for the bottom line, what are the things that they're going to do? They're going to collect the copays. Number one, they're going to collect the deductibles. Number two, when somebody comes and they have an outstanding balance, they're going to collect that. Number three, they're going to verify the insurance because if the insurance is not active, there was no point. We're not getting paid for that visit, right? So they're going to do that. Number 5, they may make sure everybody who leaves has a follow-up appointment. So you're very clear. They're like, okay, on a regular basis, if they do all these things, how much are they bringing into the practice? Do you see what I'm saying? So when you look at your payroll, you're like, oh my goodness, look how much I had to pay the person. You're not upset because you know what they bring in covers their salary, covers the overhead associated with their role, and creates a profit for the practice. So how do you feel about hiring that person? You hire them all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Because now it is no longer an expense. Hiring them is now an investment, and you get a return on your investment. Okay. Same thing when you bring in, like, let me say you are, even for an admin position, because some may say, okay, but an admin person, what are they going to do? The whole point behind getting an admin person is to get the low-level task off your plate, so you'll be in a position to do more revenue generating activities. And so if your admin person buys you back 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours every single week, and you take half of those hours and you use them for revenue generating activities, guess what that person did? They generated revenue. But this is the way savvy entrepreneurs think. And if you remember on day 2, we all agreed that we're great clinicians and we're savvy entrepreneurs. So guess the way you now think. This is the way you think. This is the way you think. Okay. You bring on another physician to work in your practice. Okay. Physician comes on. You still need to measure this, right? How many patients are they seeing? If they see this number of patients, what does that come to? Right. And so sometimes people are like, oh, it'll take maybe 9 months to fill their schedule. Okay. So how are you going to pay them if it takes 9 months to fill their schedule? How are you going to do that? Are you going to pull from your 401k? Are you going to deplete the profits of the practice? Like, what are you going to do? Because if you understand this, how many of you will be in a bigger hurry to fill their schedule? Right? Because you know what to do to fill their schedule. And you hire somebody and they're billing all 99213 visits, all level 3, no matter. They spent 1 hour with the patient. As a 99213, you're like, excuse me, sir, we will not be doing that. Why? Because you understand. You understand. So what are we doing? We're creating win-win-win situations. If you're in a business, you have to understand that your team needs to generate revenue. You cannot be the only, you can be the only revenue generator, but you put your business at risk of going out of business. Okay. If you got it, say I got it. So I know that, okay, I can move on. You got the formula. If you got nothing out of this today, just remember, for every role I hire, everybody, like before, when my practice administrator says, I want to hire somebody, she's like, I want to hire this person. This is what they're going to do. This is how they're going to generate revenue and all of that stuff. I'm like, good. This is the way the conversation used to go. Now she's done it so much that we don't have to have that conversation. She knows. But this is the way we think. Okay. So sometimes we hire because this is who we should hire. Okay, but what are you going to pay them with? Right? Like, we have to understand these things. Okay, you guys said you got it. So Dr. Una, moving on. You're too excited. Too excited. Okay. Okay, so now that you know this, when you do this, you then have a profitable team. Right? That's the whole point. You have a profitable team. So you're generating profit, they're generating profit. You're serving people, they're serving people. Match made in heaven. No financial pressure, no drama. Everybody's clear. Okay. If you have team members and it is a slow day and they're like, yay, how was today? It was great. It wasn't busy at all. We had so many no-shows and they're excited. Please understand that this is called a problem. Okay. If your people are excited because the revenue generating activities are not happening, this is called a problem. Okay. It's a problem that needs to be fixed urgently. Right. So you want to start training your team. Like, these are the things you do when you're doing your evaluations. It's not random evaluations like, oh, you've been here for 5 years and you have a good attitude and you come to work every day. Yeah. And right. So we're going to look at all of it. This is the way we want to look at it. Okay. So I'm going to give you some pointers here, and then, you're going to have homework to work on. So question here, and you can actually answer this in the chat. Dr. Shepard says, this is a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. Okay. So who is my next critical hire, right? Like in my business, like what is the next role I need to hire for? So put that in the comments. We're going to do some exercises here. What is the next critical role? And don't worry if it's right or wrong. Like we're working through this. It's a game. We're just going to learn how to think, right? So a biller. Okay. So Dr. Anderson, I know for sure because we talked today. So yes, a biller. Dr. Leslie, it's marketing, right? NNC, a medical assistant, Dr. Shepard, an RN. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so one, we're clear. This is the next person we need to hire. So the question then becomes, how will this role generate revenue? Because this is the way we think now. How will this role generate revenue, right? So your marketing person, you're measuring that by new patients, new clients coming in. Your biller, you have benchmarks for that. Like this is how, like they're doing the billing in a timely manner and this is what is coming in. We're not having many denials and all of those kind of things, right? A medical assistant is almost like an admin in a way. Like if you didn't have them, you could probably only see 10 patients, but because you have them, you can see 25 patients. But here's the deal though. That means one of the primary things you measure is their speed, their efficiency, right? If you have a medical assistant who's slowing you down, the one reason why they're not fulfilling it, then we have an issue. Do you see? But because you understand how this role creates money, it becomes very clear what it is that they need to do, right? So how will this role generate revenue? Okay, how will this role generate revenue? You got to be clear on what that is, okay? So that's some homework so you can think about it. But when you do this, you'll hire so much better. And when you hire, you can truly heave a sigh of relief because they're helping you do the work and they're helping you generate revenue. Okay. So Dr. Jillian, I think you were asking about, when you're bringing people on and the revenue is either not coming in or the profit margin is shrinking. This is the key. Everybody has a role, has a responsibility for the bottom line. Every role, every single role. That's the way this works. Okay. So let's look at two other things here. Okay. How many of you have pet peeves with team members? I have a pet peeve. I cannot stand tardiness. Oh my goodness. I'm like, if you must have a vice, pick a real vice. Tardiness? Like, are you for real? Like, what do you mean? Okay, let me know in the chat. What are your pet peeves? The things that drive you nuts that other people do. Cannot do tardiness. Cannot do it. Cannot do it. Not wanting to work. Oh my goodness. No, I can't do that either. I got many pet peeves apparently. Not responding to emails. Okay, who else? You have pet peeves. Talking about our clients. Oh my goodness. Okay. Being disorganized. Passive aggressive behavior. Rawr. That was me pulling my hair out just in case you missed it. Okay. Dr. Lakeisha, bad attitude, right? Okay. So this is the deal. I don't know about you. Oh my goodness, eating at the desk. I have a lot of pet peeves. We have pet peeves in common. Tardiness, failure to take responsibility, not doing medication reconciliation, verbal complaints about being overwhelmed. I had team members who would cry. I'm like, we don't do that here. Like, I mean, like, no. If you need help, ask for help, but we're not going to do the crying thing. Not providing solutions, only complaints about problems. Okay, so this is the deal. When I used to hire people, oh, same day call outs. Okay, you guys need to stop because I have every single one of your pet peeves. Okay. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, I'm not going to come in today. When are you supposed to be in the office? 9 o'clock. This is not helpful. Okay. Okay. Dr. Una, too excited. Calm down. All right. So this is the deal. I used to copy people that copy job descriptions, right? You want to hire a role, you Google, what is the job description of a medical assistant? You see something you're like, yeah, I think that's good. And you take it. And the person starts working for you and you're mad because that wasn't what you wanted. Okay. So you want to define this stuff. Like, what are the top 3 traits required for this role? That's the next thing there. What are the top 3 traits required for this role? So if you want somebody who's flexible because you can't stand it when people are inflexible, put that there. If you want somebody who will solve problems as opposed to being overwhelmed when anything doesn't go according to the yellow brick road, then put that there. I want someone who's flexible, someone who's proactive, all of those kind of things. If timeliness is important to you, put timeliness there. Okay, so it's clear from the get-go. You have these conversations during the interview and all of that stuff. So the people who are not compliant with your pet peeves don't come into your company. How many of you are good with that? Okay, it's like just choose. You already know what you can't stand. So flip it. I'm like, okay, these are the traits I'm looking for. Right. And if you want someone who's able to work, who's able to put out volume, then you put it there. Like I'm looking for someone who's hardworking. Right. And when you're done describing someone who doesn't want to do the work, will look at it and it's like, I ain't got time for that. And that's exactly what you want your job description to do. Okay. What are the top 3 skills required for this role? What are the top 3 skills required for this role? Right. And then you're very clear on what you want it to be. I'm a pediatrician. And when people cannot tell that, 6.5 pounds is not 6 pounds, 5 ounces, right? So, so what are the competencies that they need? Like, I don't feel comfortable giving children vaccines. Hello, this is a pediatric practice. Like, can we not do this? Right? You see what I'm saying? You don't do people. You want to work at EntreMD. EntreMD is all about people. We do people. We like people. We want people. We want to help people. Like, so if you don't want to do people, you can't be here. So customer service on point. You see how Makita is like, yeah. Okay. Okay. So understand what I'm trying to, what is here, right? The method of just finding anybody who's a warm body. I know nobody has done this, but I've done many interviews like back in the day where, the person comes for the interview. I look at them, they look like a human being, they're breathing, and I might could like them and I hire them. Do I have any cousins? You did that, right? You just saw him, you liked him, you're like, yeah, I mean, like, what? You're never going to have a rock star team that way. That's not the way this works. Okay. So you're going to need to know who is the critical hire. Like what could go wrong, right? Who is the critical hire, right? What are the traits I want for this role? If I hire somebody, I'm like, they're the best thing that ever happened. What traits would make you say that? What competencies will make you say that? And you build the job description you want, then you go after this person. Before you hire them, you're like, how does this role generate money? How will this person generate their salary? How will they generate a profit for the practice? How are they going to do that? And so when you go and you start bringing in these people, your interviews are different because you know what you're looking for, right? Your onboarding is different because you know what you're training for. Your evaluation meetings are different because you know these are the outcomes I expect from this role. Everything becomes better, right? Because you know what you want. You know how to empower your people. Your people know how to score, right? Because many times when we have bad hires, it's not the hire, it's the person who hired the person. Because we come and we're like, I hired you, you have experience, now go. And they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to want. You're like expecting them to read your mind. They can't read your mind. Everybody's upset. Where are my people that are like, Dr. Una, you and I both, I get it. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Okay. But let me tell you the difference that a team will make. A rock star team, because this may seem like work, and it is work. But when you do this, my private practice last year did a little shy of 2 million. I have not set foot in that building for 3.5 years. I haven't been in the building, but I have a team that's running it. I have a practice administrator who's on point, and my practice administrator is actually on vacation, and the team under her is running it, and I've not had any phone calls. How many of you think that's nice? I would like that. I would like that. That's what a team will do for you. Now, what does that make possible for me? And the reason I'm a very private person. The only reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want you to see what's possible. What does that make possible for me? It makes it possible for me to do the EntreMD podcast. It makes it possible for me to write the books. It makes it possible for me to run the EntreMD business school and support hundreds and hundreds of doctors. It makes it possible for me to come do this workshop. And I know everybody's business here is going to move forward because of the workshop, right? It makes it possible for me to do all of these things, right? Even those things I'm doing through teams. This is one thing I'll say you must, because you're here because you want more for your business. You want more for your life. Otherwise, you have no business being here at this time of the day. You'll be resting, okay? But you're here because you want more. As somebody who wants more, you must master team building, okay? And it's one of those things that it's a lot, but the return on investment is a whole lot. A whole lot. Okay. So let me know in the chat if you're going to do it. 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 Let me know in the chat. You're going to do the work. Is it work? Yes. Is it worthy work? Yes. It's worthy work. Yes. And this is you making your vision so big that other people can fulfill their vision, and your vision is so good. So, so, so good. Okay. So here's the deal. This is something that you want to take time to do. You want to gain competency with. Okay. You want to gain competency with, because this will change everything. Okay. Now, we've talked a lot about the EntreMD Business School, and one of the things we do, one of the pillars, there are four main things we focus on there. The first thing we focus on is part of what we did on day one, which is you making that transition from physician to physician entrepreneur. They say this thing of, bad deals or doctor deals and all of those things. We don't subscribe to any of that. Okay. We have entrepreneurs who are crushing it, doctors who are building 6, 7, multiple 7-figure businesses. We had a doc that's almost at 10, she's like 9.5, almost at 10, right? Almost at 8 figures. We had doctors who are in the Inc. regional list of fastest growing companies and all of these things. So doctors can crush it as entrepreneurs. So that transition, physician to physician entrepreneur, is the first thing that we focus on. The second thing we focus on is helping you to build a dominant brand. So you are the number one option, right? When they're looking for the person to speak at the conference, it's you. They're looking for someone to have that board position, it's you. They're looking for someone to be that referral source, it's you. They're looking at the person who's the go-to for this, it's you. Okay, so that's the second thing that we focus on. The third thing that we focus on is the revenue generation system. Because again, doctors, we love to teach, we love to help, we love to change lives, we love to do all of these things. However, in order to continue to serve people, we must do it in a profitable way. We have to do it in a profitable way. So we don't talk about money a lot as physicians. In the EntreMD world, we talk about money a lot. Why? That's how you stay in business. That's what gives you the right to continue to help people. And so we train you on how to build revenue generation systems. So you're helping people and you're helping them and generating revenue. You're doing it in a profitable way so you can stay in business. So in our world, talking about money is not a taboo. We talk about it all the time. We get rid of the guilt. We get rid of the shame. We get rid of, oh, am I being a greedy doctor? Whatever. We get rid of all of that stuff. Okay. Now we're very clear. We serve and earn, right? The serving comes first. But it's serving and earning. It's not serving, maybe earning, right? That's how businesses go out of business. The fourth thing we focus on is building profitable teams. How do you find them? How do you hire them? How do you build culture? How do you do those meetings? How do you turn them around? How do you de-hire them if you must? How do you build the different levels? You have the people who are producers who do tasks. You have the people who are managers who manage those people. Executive level, like how do you do all of that? Because we know this. I know this for a fact. If you make the transition from physician to physician entrepreneur, you build a dominant brand, you understand how to generate revenue, and you build profitable teams, you are made. You are made in the first business, second business, third business, because what ends up happening is you become an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs build businesses. And it's not unusual for you to then become a serial entrepreneur. I run 5 companies. I wasn't planning to get here, but you're an entrepreneur. That's what happens. Okay. So these 4 things will change everything. And it will. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. We have had people who came into the EntreMD Business School as employees, and they're like, I don't know. Like, can I do this? Like, of course you can. I mean, like, that's where we all start from, right? And to go from employee to multi-million-dollar business, and I'm not saying that's what your story will be, but this is just what the story is, right? And we've had a number of them that way, right? To go from this to that, that's just nuts. But we can do that. We were not born physicians. We were pimply teenagers who decided we were going to go to med school. And now we're people, right, who can replace hearts, who can intubate babies, who can deliver babies, do all kinds of crazy stuff. We became that. We can become this too. And that's what we do. Okay. So I'm gonna walk you through some stuff, and Makita has some docs to introduce you to. I can't wait to hear their stories. I'm so blown away when I listen to what doctors are doing. So blown away. But a number of you, you're where I was, and I totally get it. I promise you, I totally get it. Many years ago, I was at a meeting, and maybe it was like this in a way where, the meeting was for a few days, and it was all about, business, speaking, all of those kind of things. And I remember thinking about how much change, transformation I'd experienced just being in the meeting, like new ideas I was exposed to, new strategies and all that stuff. I was like, this is amazing. And then they started talking about, after this, if you want to work with us, we'll train you. We have a 10-month program. Oh, I was like, ooh, this is nice, and they're talking about it and all of that stuff. And they get to the investment and then they say, and so, the 10-month program is 43 grand. I was confused. I was like, what? I was like, I don't even think medical school is 43 grand for 10 months. Like, what? What are you guys talking about? And I was like, this. So I was initially confused. Then I was annoyed. Then I was curious. I was like, this is insane. And so I remember calling my husband, like, look at what's going on here. And he says, but you've been talking about all the changes and all of this stuff. Like what if, you know? And so I thought about it. And, it's not like I had 43 grand I dropped anywhere, but I thought about it. And, after thinking about it for a while, I said, okay, let's go do it. What I didn't know was on the other side of that, this super shy, socially awkward, introverted introvert will become a person who is confident speaking, will become a person who's confident running businesses, will become not just a business, but will become a serial entrepreneur, will help other people do the same. Like I had no idea what was on the other side of saying yes. I didn't know. I had no idea. And now that I look at it, I am very clear that the opportunity cost of not doing anything is kind of high. And the thing is, you'll never know. I would never have known that I had books in me and podcasts in me and business in me. I would have just been happy doing my thing. I would not have known. Right. And so for some of you, you've thought about the EntreMD Business School and, maybe there's fear, like, what if it doesn't work? Or what if this is not the time? Or what if it doesn't work for businesses like my business? Or I've tried something like that and it didn't work before. Or, with everything that is going on, is now the time? Is now the time? The truth of the matter is the time was in 2016 when I first discovered that medicine as we know it is gone, and the best next time is today. Okay, so we know. I want to show you something here. We are here because we want to see physicians win. That is the only reason why EntreMD exists, is to help you win. And the team and I, we sat and we thought about it and we said, we know that there are a lot of fears that people are coming up with. And we're like, how can we support them in such a way that they can walk past the fear? So I'm going to show you that. And then I'm going to bring Makita up. Okay. So here, right? We put this together because the fear about this not working, the fear about, what if I don't get a return on my investment, the fear of what if I don't do the work? Because sometimes we get that, like, I know that it works. I see my friends who've been in the school and all of that stuff, but what if I don't do the work? Right. And so we sat down and we said, okay, what are the fears that are holding people back? Because we can build something around it and help them win in spite of that. And so for everyone who joins the school within the first 30 days, these are the things we're going to walk you through because we want you to start creating wins right away. Listen, I have multiple businesses. Like this, what I'm doing now is my life's work. My life's work is to help you win. That's why I'm here. And so when you win, I won. And recently they brought out the Inc. regional list of fastest growing companies in the regional companies. And it was my third time on the list. But let me tell you something, that was not nearly as cool as having two doctors for the EntreMD Business School on the list. I was like besides myself. Why? Because I know we can win. I know we have great businesses on the inside of us. I know we can build great teams. I know we can make this whole burnout narrative a thing of the past. I know that the whole idea of I'm a struggle and die because I have a business and all, like we can reverse that. We can reverse that. The person whose wins I read, this doctor is running a multi-million-dollar practice. She's taking spring break off. She's giving. A practice like that, she's still growing by 30%, and all of these things. She's giving back to her community. Like that's what we deserve. If you can be somebody who can give up your youth and spend a decade and multiple six figures in school loans to get the rights to help people, You deserve a dream business and a dream life, period. Right? Okay. So these are the things we put in place. The first one is the revenue generation framework. This will be a live teaching. Okay. Why are we doing the revenue generation framework? So from the beginning, you understand how in your own business to create revenue. Most of the time, doctors, we don't have any problem with the serving, please. We've been doing that for years. We love to serve people. We know how to help people. We know how to do all of that. But how do we make this revenue thing work? So you have your own formula that you're working with to create revenue in your business. The second thing we do is your business model review. Like your business, how does it make money? Right? Can this business go to 6 figures? Can it go to 7 figures? Can it go to multiple 7 figures? Is there a problem with your business model? So we can fix it right from the beginning. We're talking the first few weeks in the school. The third thing, how to 10x your investment in the EntreMD Business School. Because we don't want you to just come, do your thing and leave. We want you to come in and you're getting ROI, return on investment after return on investment after return on investment. We'll show you what parts of the program to leverage, when, how, when life is busy, what to do, when things look like they're not working, what to do, and all of those things so you can win, because this is what we want. Right? And we want you to continue to grow. We have tiers of EBS even for people who are running 7-figure businesses. We want to see you grow. We want to see you win. We want you to come from one level to the next, right? We have people who've been in the school for as long as the school has existed, and it's going to be 5 years in June. And there are people who've never left. There's a reason, because they're getting the return on their investment. The two other things you're going to get is we're going to help you. We're going to get the trainer on how to build out your 90-day plan. So in 90 days, just the way this doctor did, her Q1 in review, you'll come back and say, my goodness, look at what has happened in 90 days, right? We show you how to map that out so you can focus, so you're not beating around the bush, so you're not sitting in analysis paralysis, like this is what I'm going to do. And then one of my favorite things is the CEO calendar mastery. You're going to get that training so you know now how to use your time. Right? When we say I need more time, we don't really need more time. Nobody's going to get more time, right? Everybody has 24 hours, including the person who's running 150 companies. So the question is, how do the ultra successful use their time? How do they invest their time? We had a doctor who joined in June of last year. And within the first few weeks, she was able to buy back 10 hours every week. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What would you do with 10 extra hours? She was able to do that, right? And so why did we build this? So if you're feeling, I don't know, if I'll do the work, no, you have the accountability to do the work. We will show you the exact steps to take to do the work. You have a community of people who will support you so you can do the work. If you're afraid, I don't know if I'll get a return on my investment. We set you up in the first 30 days so you can start doing that. I don't know if I'll have the time. Some people say, when I have the time, I'll come back. I'm like, no. This is how you get the time. We will show you how to make the time to do what needs to be done. We want to see you win. Okay. So if you're somebody who you're committed to your business, you're like, I want to build this dream business. I want to build this dream life and all of this stuff. This is my challenge for you. Do not sit in indecision. Make the decision that I am going to explore this. I am going to come into the EntreMD Business School. I am going to take advantage of the roadmaps, the mentorship, the community, the accountability, and I am going to create more wins in my business in the next 12 months than I have in the last 12 years. You can decide to do that. And we have helped people do this time and time and time again, and we would love to support you to do the same. Okay. So Dr. Shanta is so amazing. She says, I can attest yes to it all. Make the decision, right? So Makita will put the link to her calendar in the chat. Your next step is to book a call. It really is as simple as that. Book a call, okay? Book a call, and you'll be making one of the best decisions, hands down, you've made for your business. So you guys put some love in the chat for Miss Makita. I'm going to grab her, and then we're going to hear from some amazing doctors, hear what they've done in their businesses. I'm going to go sit and listen because I'm ready to be blown away. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Wasn't that so good? Oh my goodness. I'm like, wow, I'm blown away, blown away. Um, we are so excited about what is happening in the EntreMD Business School, what is happening with the doctors in the EntreMD Business School. And I wanted to share some of the stories with you. Who's ready for some stories? Who's ready for some stories? Some real life amazing physician entrepreneurs and what they've been able to achieve in their businesses. I Dr. Una says it, doctors make the best entrepreneurs, and I have found it to be true over and over and over again. Okay, so we are going to start with Dr. Chidozi. Are you able to unmute yourself, sir?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wonderful. So good to see you. Thank you for coming on. We are so excited to hear your story. Please share with us a little bit about your journey in the EntreMD Business School, but start with what life was like before.
Oh, sure. Thanks for the opportunity. So yeah, I joined EBS August of last year, and before then, well, still now, I'm a hospitalist. I work full time as a hospitalist, and when I finished my residency training, I had a mentor who told me, forget about outpatient medicine. That's not the way to go. So my wife at the time asked me, and she's like, "How about we do private practice?" And I said, I wasn't given that, advice. It's, we need to go hospitalist route."
Mhm.
So I've been working as a hospitalist for over 10 years now.
Wow.
And then she went on to, become a sleep medicine physician. And she was coming out of training, and she's like, "Okay, I think we can do this stuff." And we're like, "Yeah, let's give it some thought. Let's try this out." And we've been, toying with the idea for almost a year. And I stumbled on EBS through some connections, and I thought, okay, let me attend a program like this, just like we're doing this week. And I was like, okay, let me talk to someone who's in the program. And I spoke with Dr. Funke. My wife also spoke with her because they're both sleep medicine physicians. And we're like, okay, we think we're going to make this investment, and let's just, dive in. And we dove in August of last year. And our plan really was to have an outpatient multi-specialty practice. She's sleep medicine, and I am, general internal medicine, obesity medicine. And we, incorporated the business, I think it's September, October of last year. And we opened our doors about 3 weeks ago and saw our first patient then. Yes, yes.
That's a
So
big deal.
it's been an incredible journey, coming into EBS. And I kept on wondering, I kept on asking, well, when I spoke with you the first time, I wondered, well, will EBS give me step-by-step ways of actually starting my business? Will EBS, tell me how to incorporate, how to do this, how to do that? Um, and I think one of the things you said is, look, there's a priceless part of EBS, which is the commonwealth, which is the wisdom that, a lot of people who are in EBS, who have had experiences, who have gone through whatever I'm going to go through, are there. And you really can't put a value on that. And I spoke to Funke, and she said the same thing. And that has actually been the case. It's been an incredible journey the past, I'd say, 6 months now or so. Yeah, yeah. That was what it was before I came in, and shortly after.
That is amazing. I can't believe it's only been 6 months. And I think it's because you and I spoke twice, right? We spoke probably about a year ago, or close to a year ago before you joined. And it's so hard to believe that it's been 6 months. And it's so hard to believe you've only had your practice for just a few weeks because you have been working so hard. You've had so many wins with your practice already, with the practice with your wife already, and it's just been an incredible journey. Can you share some of the wins?
Yes. So you could categorize the wins, some business wins, some mindset wins. Um, on the business side of things, we talk about referral sources, and I don't know if we've talked about that this week. I haven't been part of the entire the meetings this week, but um, it's incredible, to realize what's out there in the community that you knew nothing about. It's incredible. When you're employed, you have no idea what systems are working behind the scenes to get patients to to see you, to engage with you. And we've gone out into the community. We've met physicians we've never known. We've met nurse practitioners. We've come to realize where, our patients should come from. I mean, from a primary care perspective, urgent care, we have a solid referral source now that can send us at least one patient a week, at least one.
Wow.
And which is incredible because they can actually send me a patient a day. That particular referral resource can send me a patient a day. And one of the hindrances I had earlier was, I'm still trying to go to insurance verification, but that's how, ramped up they could get me. And then we discovered that a lot of dentists are actually, doing sleep studies. Even some specialists are doing sleep studies and having remote, there's remote systems where people, some doctors somewhere is interpreting the sleep study and possibly seeing the patient virtually. And, and we discovered all this and we're like, okay, it takes 6 to 8 months to see a sleep doctor, really. 6 to 8 months where we are to see a sleep doctor for the first time. And we discovered that there is huge opportunity here. There's a big hospital system that we got connected with through one dentist, a
Wow.
dentist who has been getting referrals from a hospital because they don't have a sleep doctor. And so now my wife is going to have a meeting with, one of those referrals at the hospital. I think it's sometime next week because we need to put something in place. We're going through, agreements and stuff like that. So it's incredible, the connections we have out there. So that's on the business side. On the mindset side, I'll tell you, as I know I'm a high achiever, I think, but I didn't think I could achieve as much as I have, since we started on this journey. I'll tell you that. I've negotiated leases, and I'm not talking about, my own apartment or where I live. No, I'm talking about, business stuff, negotiating agreements with other providers. Um, being more productive than I thought I could. Um, having a focus on, high value activities. Previously I'll get through with my 1 week of hospitalist work and I'm like, oh my God, I am done. And it's taking me 3 days to recuperate and all. But I have the energy to move forward because I know what I'm trying to achieve. It's been incredible. Being more productive than I used to be in the past. I mean, those are some of the wins that we've had so far.
Those are huge. Those are huge wins. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, being able to you're talking as if you've been open for a long time and you guys have only been open for 3 weeks. So, I mean, we can look at the fact you said that being in the community is part of it has really contributed to you being able to do the kind of a jump start, right? Because it's
Yeah.
really you've been able to cross so many barriers that you wouldn't have maybe you probably would have been still doing trial and error at this point. There's so many questions you can ask within the community. I mean, Dr. Una talked about it earlier today. You've got people who have crossed 9 million in the community. You've got people who are doing exactly what you're doing. Like you mentioned that you spoke with somebody who was already in the school doing exactly what you're doing. So it just shortens that distance for you from where you are to where you want to be. The community EntreMD becomes that bridge.
Yeah, and Makita, that there's a win that I want to highlight. I think we talked about hiring today, and I want to bring that up because a few weeks before, 3 weeks ago, I said, we put out an ad, on Indeed to get an MA, and we had some really good responses. And we went on to try to hire one of, the people that we got and interviewed. And it's very helpful to have EBS because we discuss all of this. We discuss what to look for. We discuss, KPIs, and then we're reading books that will also help us in all of these processes. And that hire turned out to be the wrong hire. Unfortunately, we never really got to the finish line with that process for that person. When we
Okay.
talk about doing 3 interviews, 3 different
Mhm.
people, 3 places, and going through that process, it's sometimes it's a pain, but it's really for a reason.
Mhm.
And we're so fortunate because person couldn't give us references within the past year. I had to specifically ask your most recent work references. And, we got through the references, and 2 of them said, no, I would not hire again. And we're like, okay.
Mhm.
And that was, something incredible. We're so fortunate. I mean, we're just starting, and we're
Mhm.
glad that we don't have the wrong person on our team.
Yeah, that's a huge win. What you said reminds me of something something funny that someone told me once. They're like, Dr. Una gives so much information in her webinars or her challenges or her live shows. So what else could be learned in the business school? But you just showed that there's so much. Even though she spoke tonight about hiring, you just talked about some things that she didn't talk about that you did to help you dodge the bullet of, like Dr. Ernest said, of hiring the wrong person. There's so much more in the business school. Did you want to say something about that? Because you've
Yeah, I
attended.
was going to say that, you can't, you see, there are so many things EBS offers, and there's so many, um, things you want to do for us, right? As EBS, you want to do things for the doctors. There's so
Mhm.
many meetings to attend if you can. There's so many, and you really don't have to do 100% of all of these things to see significant result. And
Mhm.
that was the one thing that Dr. Una said when I came on board. It's like going to the gym. Okay, I go to the gym, I try to work out, and I have a workout schedule. I have a coach who's putting out the schedule for me, and I am seeing results, and I'm not doing 100% of what I'm is scheduled for me to do, but I'm putting in reps. You actually have to put in reps, right? But even if you don't get to 100%, even if you're at 50%, even if you're at 25%, okay, I work every other week. I try to attend EBS every week if I can, only
Mhm.
1 day a week, Wednesday. And there's stuff that happens on Thursday, there's stuff that happens on Friday. There's the Facebook group. There's a lot you can do, but if you're consistent with even 20% of it, you will realize that it's really an investment. Whatever it is, the fee is, it's really an investment, and you will get more returns on that investment than you imagine. And then there's just the commonwealth. I think that's priceless. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. And you know I have benefited from the commonwealth. I show up on Facebook and I put up questions there. I'm like, I need this, I need help. We have breakout sessions on Wednesdays, and we trash out problems. When we say problems, like practical stuff, you're not opening a book. This is not stuff you read in a book. This is what happens in life. This is reality, and you are having practical solutions to problems that can move you forward. If there's life cycles in business, yesterday's meeting was just
Mhm.
incredible
Wow. Yes.
because, I mean, you can see people in different phases of business, and you can get
Mhm.
prepared before that comes, and get your mind ready and know that, look, it will happen, it will come, but there's a way out.
Mhm.
And so you can't put a price on that. You really can't.
Wow, wow. Can we give some love to Dr. Shidozi in the comments? My goodness, we are so proud of you and your wife and the business that you have started and what you've been doing, and just the sheer volume of wins that you guys have had in such a short amount of time. It's incredible. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. We're so glad you're part of the EBS community. And you mentioned the community as well so many times. And I have to tell you something. more than 40% of the students in the Antrim D Business School have been there more than a year. It's a year program. It's a 12-month program, but more than 40% of the people stay. And the community is a huge part of it. The community is a huge part of why they stay. So I want to invite you to have a conversation with me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about if this could be the right move for you. Let's talk about where you want to be in business in the next year and see if Antrim D Business School is a bridge to help you get there. You know, there's a community, there is the relationships that you build in the community. There's the networking that you build in the community. And then there's the from Dr. Una, there's an impact of everything that she's teaching you, the mentorship, the roadmap to where you want to be. All right. So please, let's just get on the phone. Let's discuss. It's not a sales heavy call. It's just a conversation for you and I to see if this is the right choice for you. Did you have anything else you wanted to share, sir? I want to give you a chance if you have anything else to share.
I'll just say that, if you're on the fence, regarding EBS, if you think that it's a significant amount to pay, I think that you want to look at the end, look at the end and ask yourself, okay, if I don't do this, what will happen? And if I do this, what's the best thing that could happen? What's the worst that could really happen? Really, what's the worst that could happen? You think you lost 30K, but I think you're going to have a mind transformation. I think you're going to take a step and try to do something you've never done before. You know, what's the best that could happen? Your dreams achieved. I mean, you get yourself to where you've always wanted to be and discover how much more you could do that you never thought was there. I think it's worth the investment. I don't call it the expense. It is worth the investment. And you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Makita, and Makita will always supply people to talk to, because I asked for that, and she sent me people to reach out to. I think it's like Dr. Una says, do it or don't do it. Don't stay in the middle. Do it or don't do it. But I think do it. That's the way to go.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. That was so profound. Love that. Love that. Do it or don't do it, but if you do it, what's the worst that could happen? You get a mindset shift. And then the thing about it, when you said what's the worst that could happen, I often hear people tell me, but Makita, I see all these amazing docs doing all these amazing things, but what about me? Like, what will I be able to do well in the business school? That's what a lot of people worry about, will I have the same experience as they? And that's why we created the bonuses, because the bonuses kind of take away that risk, right? If you're worried about, will I have the time to invest in EBS? One of the bonuses is a CEO calendar. If you're worried about, will I be able to organize, the next 90 days so that I am doing the right thing in order to get the results that I want? There's the 90-day sprint plan. If you're worried about, what about my business model? Is there anything in there that needs to be tweaked for me to be successful? We're going to do a live call on that with Dr. Una to show you all about your business model and to review your business model. Then there's, how am I actually going to make some money? I need to recoup this investment. And that's one of the first lives you're going to have, which is the revenue generating framework. So we have already taken that into consideration because we knew that a lot of people wonder about that. So we've already taken that into consideration, and the bonuses for joining this time already cover all those risks. So you really don't have a risk. All right. So let's get on the call and let's talk about it. But I do have one more. Can you guys just give me one more? I have one more. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Foley, are you on? Can you unmute yourself and let's see if you're on so I can interview you. Let's see. Okay, Dr. Foley, I don't see you. Okay, That is okay. I will, but you know what? Tomorrow I have a lot of physician entrepreneurs that I'm going to be interviewing. So if you love these stories, aren't these stories so inspiring? Doesn't it just make you feel so amazing to know all of the great things that the physician entrepreneurs are doing? So tomorrow night, this doesn't have to end. Tomorrow night, join me 6 p.m. same time, same link, and I have a lot of other physician entrepreneurs to interview and just show you what's possible. They're there as a billboard, as a vision board for you to know what's possible for you. So everyone, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget.